What's up guys, Jake with T and Tattoo, coming to with another special video. Today, we are going to talk about the top 5 upgrades that you need for the PSA Micro Dagger. Now these 5 upgrades, that I like to call them, are my personal preference. Some of them you may consider to be optional and others you may think are useless, but in my opinion, these are 5 changes I made to my Micro Dagger based on my preference of shooting and things I place a lot of high value in. Also, I mean, let's be honest, my last Micro Dagger video I put out got like 10,000 views in just over a week, so I'm going to milk this thing as much as I can, right? But in all seriousness, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I do hope it gives you some kind of insight, maybe some things to think about on stuff that you may want to look at getting as well. And most importantly, because this is a Micro Dagger, a lot of these things are kind of based around keeping it as reliable and safe as possible, because like a lot of you guys, I'm planning on probably using this for maybe my everyday carry when I need something small and, well, micro. And before I start pointing this gun in my general direction, I do want to show you that it is clear, all that good stuff. God forbid, my last video I didn't show clear on camera deliberately, and someone got a little upset about that. So number 5 on our top 5 list is going to be tritium sights. I've got 2 pair of tritium sights, and they're both made by True Glow. The set on the gray side has a white front with tritium inside there, and the rear here has sort of like a blacked out with tritium inside each side there, 3 dots still. Nothing necessarily wrong with the white 3-dot sights, but if you're going to be using the Micro Dagger sort of like your everyday carry, a lot of times whenever there's a negative encounter, it's going to be at night. So being able to see those sights clearly, it's a big thing to have. It's very important. Wouldn't you agree? I think so. That being said, I will say that the 3-dot white sights that they come with on the Dagger are extremely bright for what they are, but they're not glow in the dark, and well, they don't have radiation there either. And just like the United States during the end of World War II, I love my radiation. Meanwhile, the other pair that I've got of True Glow sights has a white in the front as well as white in the back. Again, tritium in all 3 dots there. It's always a matter of preference, but between the two, I'd say I probably have to go with the white front and the 2 white dots in the back with tritium inside. That's just for me. Now, obviously, you can go with a bunch of different sights. You can get suppressor height sights, you can get blacked out rear with a white front and all that stuff. There's a lot of different options out there. I'm just telling you, these are the ones that I picked out that work for me based on my past experience. Now, if you aren't really crazy about swapping out your front rear sight and you want to keep the standard sights it comes with, number 4 might be for you. And that is going to be to get a red dot sight. We just did a review on the Silly Cat X Pro last week, I believe is when it came out. Really good stuff, really durable, holds 0 really well. I was really impressed with that. We beat the piss out with a water ball, has all kinds of battery life, shake away, just like all that good stuff. Is this the only option on the market? No, it's not. Obviously, you can go with the Holosun or other optics out there as well. This is the one we went with because number 1, we got for free. Thank you, Sealy. And number 2, it just seems to go well considering that this is sort of like a budget-friendly pistol. This is like a budget-friendly red dot as well. Oh, shit, I dropped this. Oops. Some people argue that red dots aren't that great. I would argue that this is the 21st century, and then you kind of get up to today's standards, because red dots really do make a difference. Whether you're young or old, red dots can help you find the target just a lot easier to use than the front rear sight at the heat of the moment, especially if you have aging eyes. And a lot of people deal with stigmatism as well. Nowadays, we're starting to see options come out, especially from these guys, where you can have a reticle that you can actually see even if you have astigmatism. Especially with a red dot like this, where it sits down so low, it even has a cutout so that you can still see your front and rear sight and use it if, say, the battery dies or you break the glass or something. I like this particular red dot. Again, we have another video review on that, so if you want to check it out, maybe we'll put a link down below. Now, number 3 on our list is going to have to be swap out the trigger shoe. Now, if you're like me, you probably don't like the hinge trigger that they kind of stole from Smith & Wesson. I got this trigger from a fellow YouTuber named Tactical Pontoon. No affiliation or anything. I just saw that he offered these triggers, and I thought, hey, might as well give it a shot. He seems to know his stuff, and I've had a lot of bad experiences with different aftermarket triggers. Let me try this one because it seems like maybe he knows what he's doing. Now, this is the Gun Company trigger shoe. It actually alleviates some of that creep, some of that sponginess. Is there still some pull? Yeah, obviously there is. But you pull it, and then bam, right there, you're at the wall. Reset. Check this out. Right there, bam. Nice and clear and crisp. And right there. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm not really trying to swap out a lot of the internal parts. Again, this is supposed to be an everyday carry micro pistol, not something like competition. But in my opinion, if you're going to swap out anything to improve that trigger, the trigger shoe itself is one of the safer bets that shouldn't, in theory, affect the reliability. This, we've already put in a couple hundred rounds. So far, it seems reliable. Now, is that enough rounds to be able to confidently say that it's going to be 100% reliable? No, obviously it's not. So we're going to be shooting more rounds with this particular trigger shoe. But so far, I'm just telling you from now at this point in time, as of today, this seems all right. Seems good. No real issues. Now, again, if you enjoy the original Dagger trigger, then by all means keep it. For everybody else, check this out. Something I want to point out about the Micro Dagger is while it does seem like essentially a Glock 43X clone, it's not really with the internals. If you swap out the trigger bar, then you have to swap out the housing that holds the crown and all that stuff as well. You can't just mix and match. It has to all be Glock 43X or it has to be all PSA Micro Dagger. That's why I just swapped out the shoe because, again, that issue, I don't want to affect the reliability. Now, number 2 on our list is something that I actually don't have here presently today, but it is on its way. And that is going to be a light of some sort. Now, I kind of personally go back and forth between doing an everyday carry light in my pocket versus having one mounted direct on the gun. If you ever need to actually use a light for just practical use, you don't have to pull out your gun and start waving it around just to use it as like a light source. On top of that, having a light does make it a little bit bulkier than having it like this. The benefits of having a light, especially on a small handgun like this, I think outweigh the cons though. Number 1, you're going to have a little bit of a better time handling the recoil and helping maintain accuracy. The weight of that flashlight is going to help you with the accuracy and the follow-up shots because you're going to have a lot less recoil. Not that 9mm has that much recoil, but when coming out of a small gun like this, it typically does have a lot more recoil that you have to learn how to handle. Number 2, obviously it's going to be a light source for you as well. And number 3 is there's a lot of aftermarket Glock 43X holsters that use a light as part of the mold for the Kydex and stuff. From what I gather, based on my research, again, as of right now, you can use the Micro Dagger with a lot of those different Glock 43X holsters. And I imagine because they use the flashlight as the main spot where it retains the firearm inside the holster, I feel that having a light on your handgun will make it a little bit easier to find holster options to meet your needs. Now, before we move on to number 1, I do want to give a quick honorable mention. That is, you could consider getting a compensator, or in this case, the PSA slide that has sort of like a built-in compensator right into the end of it there. In my original review, I actually didn't see any real benefit from using the compensated slide versus the regular slide, but maybe for you at home watching this, especially if you're a smaller stature person and you're having difficulty with the recoil of 9mm, a compensator of some sort like the PSA compensated slide, the C1, might be a good choice for you. We're losing some daylight here, so I'm gonna try to adjust here. Now, number 1 on my list is gonna be the number 1 thing I always do as soon as I pick up a Glock, or in this case, a Glock clone. And that's gonna be to do what they like to call the 25-cent polish job. Get you some of this Mother's buffing compound. Good stuff, great for polishing metal. It's really used for jewelry, and using Mother's buffing compound not only helps make your metal shine with a nice mirror-like finish, but it also helps smooth out any rough edges or anything that you might have that may cause any kind of unnecessary friction that you don't want. Take that for what you will. And I know that some people are going to be a little bit iffy about even doing that, and that's totally fine. If you don't want to do that to your Micro Dagger, I get it. I'm just telling you from my personal experience of owning Glocks for like 10 years now or something, that it's kind of standard practice for me at this point. All right, it's starting to get a little bit dark. Have to wrap this up, but I just want to let you guys know again that this is my personal top 5 upgrades for the Micro Dagger. Again, you guys may like to do something different. In fact, that's totally fine, and I'd love to hear what you prefer to do with your Micro Dagger. If you have other suggestions, maybe we'll make another follow-up video and talk about some other things you can do. The point is, don't get bent too out of shape over this. Again, this is all 100% preference and all very subjective. But these 5 upgrades are the things that I like, and I think that you will like them too. Guys, that's going to wrap it up today. Remember, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Have you picked up any upgrades for your Micro Dagger? I'd love to hear from you. We will see you next time.
Hey,
Thank you, Winky.
are we being lazy or are we working out?